Speaking of close, we're now inside the fuel window. Everybody could make it from here. We'll see who is going to stay out and who's going to try to come in and get fuel here.
Wouldn't you think most everybody's going to come in and get a splash here just not to take any chances?
Yeah, but it's a chance to steal a little track position. We saw a lot of cars that topped off on the one to go the last time. If they felt like they could make it under green, we've got some caution laps here that would ensure they could make it. Heck, if they're going to gamble, might as well stay out here and gamble.
It's not going to be a long caution, though. I mean, he didn't really hit anything. They're picking up a little bit here. I would think that just a lap in the...
We're just going to play this out here. I think if we go another 20 laps at green, we'll get most other guys to pit with us if caution comes out. So just stay out here.
That sounds like Jimmy Johnson's staying out.
Yeah, but I don't think the leaders are. Looks like Junior's coming in.
Stay out.
Yeah, I think I'd have pitted there.
I would have. That's taking a chance on getting caught out here without enough fuel.
Of course, that's easy for us to say up here. It doesn't really make any difference. We're right or wrong. Jamie?
Well, it worked out for him so far. They said that they're in their fuel window, as you guys said. 4 tires tearing a tear off that front windshield, and the 20 is down and away. Shannon?
Jamie, Tony Stewart said he has nothing to lose by coming down. He says he's having trouble getting into the turns. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment on all 4 tires and 1.5 rounds down on the track bar. Dave.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. hated giving up the lead, but they understand. Fill it full of fuel, 4 tires, slight chassis adjustment, and they can make it to the end from here.
So these guys should be okay with no worries whatsoever on fuel. They got some tires in there that the guys that didn't come in, well, got a little bit of figuring to do.
I'd be a little nervous. This thing could go green to the finish. You see Jimmy Johnson's a little nervous. He shut his car off.
Happened to us at Phoenix a couple years ago, how we were able to pull that thing out, get a little lead. Those guys started falling off. We were able to back off our pace.
Maybe there's modern math, but back in June, they couldn't go 47 laps. And right now they're trying to go 51.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem for them.
Yeah, I would have really thought they'd at least got that little splash of gas, and they've got a fast enough race car to do all of this. They're definitely. I think they're talking the way they're talking. They're going to have to pit at some point in time. They're thinking they can get out there far enough, but I don't know.
Okay, now Jimmy Johnson shutting his car off right here, and you see a lot of cars moving around, and
Kevin Harvick doing the same thing. Just got a little bit of throttle going, not much.
You risk giving up your spot in line if you don't keep it up here, though. They shut them off and let them coast too far.
I don't think they're going to do too much of that because I think Vickers is shutting his off in front of them. So
it's hard to pass with your engine shut off. Yeah, you see Harvick, he's going to give it just a little bit of speed. He's going 79 miles an hour, shuts it off. Now he's just going to coast a little bit. You see he's going past Kenseth. I'm sure Kenseth is doing the same thing. If they're going to try to make 51 laps, it's going to be tough for them if we don't get another caution.
Yeah, that one car I saw on pit road again there was the 14 car. Tony's not going to come in unless he's going to get 4 more tires. But our leader right now is Brian Vickers. What are they saying down there, Dave?
Well, in June, they played the strategy of pitting under the last caution and then racing slowly to the end of the race and coming up with a 9th place finish. They didn't have to go in for a splash. So Ryan Pemberton has decided they're going to up that up a little bit, and they are not going to come back in. He says, I need 3 laps from you, Brian. He told Brian, I need those long gears. And Brian said, long gears? It's not even in gear.
But now, let's talk about this for a second. Vickers is now 13th in the points. He is just 36 points out of being in the chase. I mean, if you don't come back in and run out of gas here, you could be done.
Well, he's taking a chance. He's in that position to roll the dice here, see if he can get in. If it works for him, they'll be brilliant. If it doesn't, it didn't. They're still out.
Yeah, what we were hearing Chad Canal say, though, was he was saying if we can get these guys and we can run about 20 more laps,
that's a big if.
Then get a caution and get the rest of them follow them down pit road. That's what I'm saying. You got a fast race car. Why do you put yourself in that position? But they've won 3 straight championships.
They're going to show us why we're wrong.
It's just our job to question. That's what we're here for.
Guys, give a call to Sam Horn. He's being shown in 11th position, trying to get yet another top 10 here for the Penske team. Restart. Vickers and Johnson, row 1. Vickers the leader.
Jimmy Johnson just beat Brian Vickers to the line right there.
Yeah, that's 2 real close calls there on that 48 car.
That wasn't even close.
3 wide, now 4 wide in turn 2.
Jimmy Johnson definitely beat him to the line.
Be careful around Casey Kane. He's already got into the side of 42 car one time, and he's right up on the side of Scott Speed.
They don't have much room back there right now.
Kevin Harvick, the best run he has had in a month and a half here, running in third position, but right now getting a position taken away by Kenseth.
Look at these guys coming off of 4 here, though. 2, 3, 4 wide.
Gordon and McMurray battling for a spot back there. That's for 6th spot. Dale Earnhardt Jr. now going to the middle of the racetrack, trying to battle his way up through. He can just throttle it. He doesn't have to worry about fuel at all.
Joey Logano, another one of those cars. You see Mark Martin and Kevin Harvick splitting the 17 car.
Brian Vickers is out about 5 or 6 car lengths on Jimmy Johnson and the rest of these cars.
See Mark Martin get a nice run up off the bottom to get up beside of Kevin Harvick. It don't look like they're saving much fuel right here.
Kevin Harvick only one top 10 finish the last 18 races. That was a 6th at Indianapolis in this very car. Now he gets passed by the 5 car of Martin to take the 3rd spot away.
Look at Logano working the bottom. And now here's Clint Boyer and Jeff Gordon side by side.
That's for 6th position. Again, Clint Boyer trying to battle his way in the chase. Now being shown 83 points back in 15th position. Jimmy Johnson reeling in Brian Vickers up there about a car length back.
See Jimmy go to the high side. That's where Vickers has been running most of the day. A lot of times as things cool off on the racetrack, and turns 1 and 2 have a lot of shade on them right now, you can utilize that bottom a little bit more. You get more grip. It actually helps you to accelerate off the corner too. As you see, here comes Jeff Gordon on the inside of Matt Kenseth.
Now you see Vickers on the high side, Johnson on the bottom in 3 and 4.
So battle for 5th on the left side of your screen, battle for the lead on the right. Let's update the 83. Dave.
Doc, as you watch that battle with Jimmy Johnson, Brian Vickers had not been able to run the bottom in 1 and 2, as you saw on the previous lap. Johnson will now go by, and Vickers will go back to the high side, but they made an air pressure adjustment that actually helped him to do that. And Pemberton told me this morning, the crew chief, that he'd be able to run all over the track. So they've adjusted the car to where he can work both lines right now in the 83, just not quite as good as the 48, I guess.
Now he's doing it well. That 48 car is just a little too strong for him right now.
Another Childress car to 33 of Boyer now trying to battle with Kenseth. That's for the 6th position. Look at the line difference for these two guys. One on the bottom of the track and one up near the wall. Vince?
The 33 of Clint Boyer, as you see him battling on the inside there with Matt Kenseth, who's on the outside. Boyer's car is really loose. Kenseth's trying to conserve fuel, so it's an interesting confrontation between the 2 of these cars. You've documented how Boyer's made his move up and is starting to close in on the gap in regards to the chase, and this is what they wanted to do, score a solid top 10 today and put some pressure on those other teams that are around the bubble. And they feel as though if they can do that on a consistent basis over the next couple of races, they'll make the chase. So far, so good today.
Look at Carl Edwards come in between these guys. They were on the bottom and the top, and Carl coming in the middle.
And Sam Hornish working right behind them.
What a great battle there for these guys here. 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th right together.
Yeah, Carl Edwards able to clear them as they come off of turn 2 now.
And behind these guys, the 07, good run for Casey Mears. He's in the top 10 in the 07 car. And behind him, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is 11th.
Now, he's got those fresh tires. You see Logano right behind Junior. Looks like about a 4-wide battle back there.
Tell you what, guys, I've been watching Jimmy Johnson and Vickers out there running. I don't know if at this point, I think what I'd be doing, man, I'd be following Vickers. If I was Johnson running out of gas last time, get behind Vickers, roll out that throttle, save a little bit of gas, use that draft. Right now he's up front just burning all the gas he possibly can, just out there running wide open. Look at the big gap behind Brian Vickers. I'd use that, guys, to try to save some fuel. Save it now so you can use it later if you need to. Look at that gap. I mean, Ray, I got to tell you, that's what I'd be doing, buddy.
Yeah, it'll help them some. I don't know how close they are. We heard Chad say that they were hoping with a caution with about 20 to go to get everybody to pit, so they might not be able to make it with a 48 car.
Well, and guys, they're encouraging Chad Knaus on the radio to Jimmy Johnson, encouraging him in regards to his lead and telling him, roll out of the throttle when you can. Save us everything that you can save. But be conscious of who's behind you as you see Chad Knaus on the right, keeping a close eye on his driver, Jimmy Johnson.
He's watching these laps click off, and he's getting more nervous the more laps that click, and he thinks that this thing may go green.
So the interval now 0.7 of a second between Vickers and Johnson. There's the 5-car, Mark Martin back in 3rd position. Shannon.
Well, guys, the team is telling me Mark Martin is 3 laps short, but remember, he won this race here in June using fuel strategy, something he is remembering. This is what he said on the radio.
Saving everything I can. What's that, Mark? Saving all I can, about like last time. At 10-4, bud. We're a little short here. If I need a caution about lap 180, that'd be nice. Do you want me to save or go? Just save right now. The 24 is the only thing that's going to get you.
Mark Martin just radioed in, told Alan Gustafson to tell him, talk to him every lap, tell him what he's doing. He said, do not leave this on my shoulders. Don't leave me out here alone. Tell me if what I'm doing is right. And you see Alan Gustafson on the right-hand side coaching his driver along.
Okay, here's the problem, though. See, if he cannot make it, he doesn't need to let cars pass him right here. He needs to try to keep that track position. And only if he's got a chance of making it to the finish does he need to try to save fuel and maybe give up a spot or two.
The 88 car coming. We saw him get right up against the wall a couple laps ago running. Watch him go all the way up across the racetrack.
He's got plenty of fuel. He's got 4 tires, and all he's doing, he's on offense right now trying to get all the spots he can. And he's come up 8 spots since lap 161 there. Now he's inside the top 10.
This is the best race car they have, the one they qualified 3rd at Indianapolis, the brand new Lance McGrew built Hendrick car. They thought they might have something for today. Didn't practice well, didn't qualify that well, but as the races progressed, DJ, this car has gotten better and better.
Yeah, and it seems like maybe the track's coming to him too, and so it's helping him out. Only problem that he might have as he works his way up is some of these other guys running that same line. That seems to be the only place that he can really make past. You see the 07 now go to the bottom of the racetrack.
Right now, Junior is the highest running car that has enough fuel for sure to make it to the end. The rest of the cars is very iffy and probably not going to make it, a lot of them.
So we saw 2 cars back in June run out of fuel on the white flag lap. And right now, Junior running in 9th. Could we see 8 cars? Because there's a bunch of guys in front of him that I don't think are going to make it.
Yeah, he's going to pass more than that, though. He has a fast race car right here. So as these other guys are having to backpedal some, whether or not they're going to make it, Junior can go wide open, just like you said, Andy. Dave?
And one more interesting thing. Remember when he came down pit road, I said he didn't want to give up the lead. His actual words to Lance McGrew were, I'm not sure I understand your logic on this. So he really wasn't sure that Lance was making the right call. But as you said, he's the one out there right now who can go racing with full fuel.
He's looking good now. I'll tell you, that's a good decision by Lance McGrew.
He just
gained in a good spot right here.
Sorry, Andy, he just gained 2 spots there.
Head 4, take care of it, man. You're doing awesome.
Yeah. Sometimes the driver, you don't really understand everything that's going on because you don't know all the different scenarios as we look at the fuel window here. Look at Junior. He's good to go here. These other guys, I'm pretty sure, aren't going to be able to make it, but he's still passing a lot of cars on top of that.
Yeah, he's in 8th spot, still passing cars.
Well, there are still 34 cars on the lead lap, and you can ill afford to run out of fuel here because you will get an abysmal finish at this racetrack, and that could be a real problem for anybody trying to make the chase.
Yeah, we're here. Mark Martin may let the 99 car go to try to save some fuel, but that's where he wants to kind of ride behind Carl Edwards. If it's, Gustafson needs to tell him if they think they can make it, then he needs to keep conserving. But if he can't, they need to just, run as hard as they can here.
Kyle Busch began today 39th on the starting grid, but 13th in the point standings. Right now, he is back in 14th position, 79 points back. Now, on the racetrack, the 18 car is being shown 15th.
Well, we saw him make a run up into the top 5 or 6 earlier on. but as he's gotten back in traffic, you see the car kick out just a little bit there. He hasn't been able to make up many spots. As we go back to Junior, as they've caught Kevin Harvick here, he and Sam Hornish, as he goes by Kevin Harvick, takes over that 6th spot.
That's a couple more spots for Dale Earnhardt Jr. if he can get by both these guys.
I think this is Junior's race to win if the caution doesn't come out. I really do. He's got a fast car. He's got enough fuel. He may even get up there close enough to even pass Jimmy Johnson, especially if Jimmy and Brian Vickers and Jeff Gordon have to start pedaling to save fuel.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s last victory 43 races ago right here at Michigan in June of 2008. Now, he did it that day on fuel mileage.
Well, that's about the only way he's going to get beat. If somebody ahead of him can make it, he has enough fuel.
Hornish being shown in 6th spot. Dale Earnhardt Jr. 7th. They've already gone by Harvick in 8th.
Junior making that pass, though. Sam Hornish to take that spot away. He's up into the 6th spot now.
You saw the interval. Jimmy Johnson going by as the leader. There's the interval back to Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Sam Hornish. So it is Jimmy Johnson the leader, Brian Vickers 2nd, Jeff Gordon now being shown in 3rd position. Shannon.
Yeah, guys, Jeff Gordon's crew chief of their team told me they were about 3 to 4 laps short, but Steve Letarte just told Jeff Gordon to get to the front. He said, we came here to win this race. So he is making a move while some of the other guys in the top 5 are being conservative. Now, this team's 3rd in the points coming into this race. Of course, Jimmy Johnson, he's in a place where he can clinch a chase berth. But guys, some of the other teams, Mark Martin, was this a gamble that you would have taken when you're looking at just trying to get into the chase?
Well, it is a big gamble for Mark Martin on fuel because he could, like you say, fall back to in the 30s if he doesn't make it. On the other hand, if he gets another win, he gets a top seed. It's kind of a really a big gamble for him.
Yeah, if you look at take the 3 guys in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd right here. Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, yeah, they're in good enough spot. They can take this gamble. Brian Vickers is trying to work his way in there. Probably can take that gamble too. Mark Martin, where he restarted this, I think I'd have had to come to pit road.
Again, what we're talking about, folks, as you watch this battle, Joey Logano and Greg Biffle, the chase is NASCAR's version of the playoffs. After this race, there are just 3 races remaining to get in the top 12 in points, and which is the playoff. That's what these guys are trying to get in the top 12 here in the point standings.
Logano may have just touched the wall a little bit.
Yeah, he's driving that thing for everything it's worth, too. He has enough fuel to go to the end here. You can see him coming up on Matt Kenseth. Kenseth is in the 11th spot right now.
Now, looking at lap times, Mark Martin is about 6/10 of a second slower than Junior, who's running right behind him. He looks like he may be pedaling his car to save fuel.
You heard Shannon say they told Martin he needed 5 laps. Now back in June, or he needed 3 laps. Back in June, they told him he needed 4 laps, and he somehow made the 4 laps he had to make to get to the finish line and win the race.
What, 6 miles is a lot of saving to do whenever you get down. You're talking about a gallon of gas there, a little more than that. So I don't know. That's a lot to save as a driver and try to hold your position too.
Look at Junior, man. He is letting her hang out.
Willing it, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
His lap times are just a little bit quicker than what the leaders are right now. He's most of the time being a tenth and a half faster than the guys running 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. has only 1 top 5 finish the entire 2009 season. That came at Talladega, where he finished 2nd in that wild finish.
He's knocked a second off Jimmy Johnson's lead that he had over him. It was over 5.5 seconds, and now it's just getting right there about 4.5 seconds. He's coming.
Going by Mark Martin to take it, that would put him in the 5th place.
He's going to be able to take this spot away because Mark, all he can do right now is try to save as much and make something out of it where he doesn't have to come to pit road before this is over unless we have a caution.
That was for the 5th spot now. Junior in the top 5.
There, all the way back around, you see there's Jimmy Johnson and Brian Vickers, 1-2, just about 1 turn away from where you see Earnhardt coming in a hurry.
It won't be long. Jimmy Johnson will see that 88
probably
coming.
a lap short, even saving under them yellows. We just got to see what happens, man. Keep running.
Doesn't sound like he's too confident.
I was just getting ready to ask you if you're Chad Canal, so what are you thinking right now?
I'm nervous. I'm very nervous right now.
That was Steve Letarte talking to Jeff Gordon a moment ago. But if you're Chad Knaus, you're nervous. And if you're the guys there, Ryan Pemberton and Vickers pitch, you're very nervous. He's trying to get in the chase. Wow.
Yeah, Vickers has worked himself into a nice position right here. Yeah, it'd be a real shame if something were to happen, if they were to run out of fuel here and, you know, end up taking a car that they ran in the top 5 all day.
Well, it's a gamble. They are willing to roll the dice to try to get the best finish they can and try to get in this chase with just a few races left. This is just the kind of gamble they need to take.
They've had fast race cars all year long. 6 poles, a series leading 6 poles. And there is Steve Letarte. He helped lead Jeff Gordon to victory lane at Texas, breaking a 47 race winless streak. Gordon hadn't won here in almost 10 years.
You see that shot right there? Junior's coming.
Yeah, he's about 4/10 faster the previous lap than what our leader Jimmy Johnson was. In fact, Dale Earnhardt Jr., the only car running in the 41-second bracket. He's at a 41.92 the previous lap.
He's coming. If he doesn't knock the ball down, he is right next to it.
Got to believe he's saying, if we stay green, folks, I'm going to win this thing.
He's got 16 laps.
Sports Center coming up next. Following our coverage here, our live coverage at Michigan, Dale Earnhardt Jr. has the fuel to go to the finish. But the guys in front of him may not. But right now, he doesn't make much difference. He has the fastest car on the racetrack.
Now he's under 4 seconds behind Jimmy Johnson. Still coming. A couple of Roush teammates, and then you got the 00 of David Ruderman.
I think Kenseth's just trying to hold on right here. This is another guy trying to hold his chase spot. He's trying to save fuel. He's losing quite a few spots.
Yeah, he's already
barely
back.
Gets into the wall right there out of turn 4.
He's already back to 13th spot.
Based on normal calculations, the first, second, third, and fourth cars would have to go 51 laps on a tank of fuel. No one has done that here at Michigan today. But the car running 5th, Dale Earnhardt Jr., has plenty of fuel. And it all matters what happens in front of him. Dave.
And Doc, they have told him that you are 4/10 of a second faster per lap than the guys in front of you, and they're saving fuel. DJ, if you were told that, would that be like putting the whip to you and say, come on, go get it?
That's just what you want to hear. Exactly. Those guys are having to save fuel. They can't speed up, but they're going to run out again. So you've got 2 ways to win this race. You catching them on the racetrack, and they're probably going to run out of fuel anyway. So, yeah, Junior's probably up on the wheel right now. Probably a little smile on his face, I'd say.
Man, if I was on that pit box with Lance McGrew, I'd say, go get them, guys. Man, it's in your windshield. It's all right there. Got plenty of fuel. This is your race to win, buddy.
Yeah, he just right now, you really just don't want to make a mistake, and he hasn't done that. He's doing a great job. Gosh, he's running so close to the wall. If he makes a little mistake, it's not going to hurt much.
13 to go, man. Everyone's saving fuel there. They're starting to pedal in front even more. Can't do it, man. Keep digging.
Looks like Vickers might catch Johnson here and get this lead, too.
Well, I think Jimmy's really trying to save fuel. I'm not sure what Vickers' plan is here. He might just be running as hard as he can and get as much as they can.
Yeah, Vickers a couple tenths faster than Johnson last lap.
Remember, both Edwards and Gordon in 3rd and 4th are running on empty as well. And back in June, Jimmy Johnson tried to stay in front of Greg Biffle and ran himself out of gas. Vince.
Well, Jimmy Johnson certainly knows that they are up against it, and Chad Knaus just told Jimmy, he said, everybody else is going to be really close or going to run out. He said, but the 88 has enough to the end, and he's coming strong. Jimmy Johnson just came back and said, I'm lifting big time, trying to save you everything I can. There's going to be a meeting at the end. There's no doubt about it. The 88 is charging, and the 48 knows it.
Another guy sitting in a good spot, Joey Logano, also has enough fuel. He's just moved inside the top 10. Right there, you can see Junior. He's got his sight set on Edwards now.
Let's get more on Vickers' Dave.
So I just remember Brian Vickers' goal was to save 2.5 laps. Now that's a revision from the earlier 3, which means, Brian, you have a little more fuel to go racing with. In June, they passed cars at the beginning of the restart of that long run, and then they held their position in 10th. Remember, he was the restart leader, so he's been able to stay up there and just hang around and save fuel, and now maybe race Jimmy for the win.
Hey, one thing that's making these guys use, I see some smoke coming out of Johnson's car right there. See just a little bit of smoke. Maybe it's bottoming out. But one thing Junior is doing right now is he's making these guys run harder than they really want to run, because they can't back off too much or Junior will just pass them.
Yeah, they've actually picked their lap times back up now.
And that'll use fuel.
Yes.
Brian Vickers hasn't won a race. He's in 87 starts. Talladega, October of 2006. If he can hang on, that would be huge for that team.
And Mark Martin, you'll see he's lost touch completely with these leaders. He is really trying to save fuel.
And Vickers right now can get up here and draft a little bit, and he can save a little bit more fuel just running right behind Jimmy Johnson at this point in time.
A little while longer, bud. Stay out with him for a little while longer.
That's Canals telling him to stay out front just a little longer. Yeah, that thing with Vickers, it's kind of a double whammy. He can make him use more fuel to put pressure on. Here comes Junior. He's going to get this spot from Edwards.
That would put him in fourth position. So there he's in fourth spot with 10 laps to go.
How many laps is Jimmy going to stay out front here and try to hold Vickers off?
Yeah, I think Vickers is doing a great job here. Like you said, Andy, he's put some pressure on him, but he's also able to save fuel right there. He wouldn't have to be wide open running down, staying that close. He might be in a better spot than what we thought. He might be the one guy that had saved enough and be close enough here.
He's running that high line, though. And that high line uses a little bit more fuel.
Yeah, but you can run that high line and let your car roll a lot further, too, and you don't have to get back in the gas. So you can kind of pedal it around that corner, as you have to do anyway in doing that. You can't just get wide open from the start. You have to get your car pointed in the right direction. It looks like he wants to lead now, though.
Vickers up on the outside. Johnson, whoa, bobbles and slides up in front of him.
You need to save about 2.5 laps of fuel. If you think you saved us that much, you just stay ahead of him, bud. 8 laps to go, man. Keep on digging.
These guys are a lot closer than what we actually thought, I believe. I mean, I thought they were going to be 4 or 5 laps short and weren't going to have any chance, but they're talking 2.5 laps, so may be possible.
Again, back in June, Jimmy Johnson ran out of fuel, leading the race, coming down to the white flag. Let's listen to the 24 radio.
Oh, yeah, here we go. That's who I need. Yeah, 10-4. Just watch him here. The 88 is my concern. Up the 99, the 88. He's coming like a bat out of hell up at the top, all the way to the wall. I mean, I don't have a whole lot left, so if he's got fresh tires, you know, and he catches, we're done. It's fine. Just do the best you can. Just keep doing the best you can, man. That's all we can do.
And that's all you can do. Go as hard as you can.
There's the 88 300 cars in the top 4 here at Michigan.
Now Johnson and Vickers have slowed down some more here from what they were running. I don't know if that's calculated or if their tires are just giving up at this point.
They can't slow down anymore. Junior's going to catch them. If they slow down, they have already slowed down, like I said, a couple of tenths. That may be enough in these next 7 laps for Junior to catch them and pass them.
Junior's still about 2.6 seconds back.
Well, they can easily see him now in a straightaway right by their rearview mirrors. There's Junior right behind him. He's cut the interval by a third here in the last lap and a half.
Keep digging. You're the man.
He was actually slower than the first 3 cars on that lap, though. Dale Jr. was.
Again, the story, Jimmy Johnson, Brian Vickers, Jeff Gordon pitted on lap 149, 51 laps from the checkered flag.
It's getting down to crunch time, boys. Mark Martin, look at him. He's on cruise control back here. Boyer goes around him, and here comes the 20 car also around him.
Martin came in 11th in the points. Right now, if he would finish where he is, he would jump 2 spots to 9th in the standings. In front of this group, Sam Hornish having another good run. Sam trying to get a top 5 finish, sitting back in 6th position. There's Sam.
Yeah, and he's had an eventful day. He got a lap down, then he got the free pass, but they lost the free pass because they pitted twice for fuel, so they were able to get it back later on. Smoking the right rear tire, it looked like. He's got that maybe sideways.
Good run for Casey Mears in 7th position, and for the first time this year in quite a while, we can say this has been a great run for the Richard Childress Racing team as a whole.
And Casey Mears doesn't have as much fuel as Junior does, but he does have a couple laps more fuel than the leaders, so he has a chance to make it. Boy, we're inside of 4 laps to go now. Heart rates are going up on his pit boxes.
These guys have picked their lap times back up by about 2.5 tenths. So I think they're racing right now as hard about pretty much everything that they can get.
That's about all you can do now. Vince?
Chad Knaus just told Jimmy Johnson, you've got enough car to stay ahead of him. It's just a matter of whether or not we can make it. It is going to be that close, and I don't think Chad Knaus knows either. He has certainly not let his driver know, and certainly when they communicate back and forth between one another, it's a question mark as to whether they can get to the finish or not.
I can tell you one thing, if Jimmy Johnson doesn't make it, it wasn't because his car is tight. He's been sideways off of turn 4 about every time.
You won't have to wait too much longer. 3 laps to go.
Again, back in June, we had 2 leaders run out of gas here at Michigan on the final lap of the race. Mark Martin running 3rd, won the race. The 3 guys right now, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, very, very close to making these final 2.5 laps.
Toyota's never won at this racetrack. They would like nothing more than to kind of spoil the day of the big 3 up here. Brian Vickers would just love this. He's got himself in a great position. He sits right there.
Here he goes. Jimmy's out of fuel.
Jimmy's out.
Coming to pit road.
So with 3 laps to go, Johnson falls off.
Back her down.
Okay, now we got 2 laps to go.
Vickers can really back out for a minute.
And this looks like deja vu for the 48 car having to come in and get fuel.
Jeff Gordon's just under a 1.5 seconds behind Vickers.
You got pressure, go. When you got pressure, go.
Wow, 2 races in a row for these guys, 48 team. Here comes Vickers.
Now, what about Vickers and Gordon? Remember, Gordon pitted on 149, so did Vickers.
I'll tell you, Jeff Gordon kind of sat there and didn't run as fast as those front 2 guys for a long time. He might have been able to save enough.
Okay, here they come for the white flag.
Coming down, as you mentioned, Toyota has never won at Michigan.
88 feet of mirror.
Brian Vickers, the pole sitter, hasn't won since 2006.
Pulling hard off turn 2.
And it was right here back in June that the leader's car began to sputter and cough. That was Greg Biffle. Right now, Vickers still under power.
Looking good so far.
Yeah, he was probably about half throttle going down the back straightaway because he knows that Jeff Gordon's in the same position. He doesn't really have to worry about him.
He's going to make it.
Brian Vickers looks like he's going to make it happen.
Get to us, bud. Get it to us.
And coming down for the checkered flag for his 2nd career win, Brian Vickers does it at Michigan.
Jeff Gordon will come 2nd. Dale Jr.'s 3rd. Here's Mark Martin losing spots. He goes through turns 3 and 4. He's just in the middle of 3 and 4 right now.
Yeah, he's going to lose a lot of spots. But how about Brian Vickers?
Matt Kenseth running out right as he gets to the line. He lost a couple of spots.
And Mark Martin still has not made it across. Coasting down on a turn 4 as you look at Brian Vickers, the winner.
Wow. Mark's going to be about the last car on the lead lap. That's what we were talking about. That's a real gamble. Brian Vickers, what a great job by that young man today.
Sat on the pole here for the 3rd race in a row and had not gone to victory lane since October of 2006, 87 races ago. Jamie.
First win here for Toyota, first win for Red Bull Racing, and Ryan Pemberton, crew chief. What were these moments like for you? How close were you on fuel?
I think that shows, right? Now, man, he's still got enough. I have to say that I learned from the first few races how good he was at saving fuel. And if you listen to us, I didn't say a word to him. He knew exactly what he had to do. That's way cool, man. I can't say enough about this team, what everybody's building. Thanks, sir. The cars that we're building now, I mean, you just feel so good coming to the racetrack, so confident. The driver's, he's right there, and it was fun coming to the racetrack this week, and this tops it off here.
Long in the coming for Brian Vickers, 87 races since his only Sprint Cup victory, Doc, and he does it from the pole.
And a roll of the dice, and he is out of gas.
He was going to do a burnout or get the flag here, and he ran out of gas, so he's sitting in front of victory lane now. Can't quite get there. But what a great job. These guys, they're 12 points out of the chase right now.
And Mark Martin lost a ton of points right there.
What a huge gamble for Vickers, but it pays off. And you want a ticket to the chase, folks? You enjoyed that, and I hope you did. There's plenty more to come where that came from. Thunder Valley next Saturday night, Bristol, Tennessee, Atlanta, Richmond, and then the chase begins You know, with the New Hampshire International Speedway, the final 10 races, we're going to have one heck of a chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup title. There is Brian Vickers jumping out of the car. What an effort and what a day. Let's go down and visit with Jeff Gordon. Shannon.
Well, we're down here with Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt Jr. sitting on the wall. Great fuel mileage day for you guys. Dale Jr., tell me what, you guys came back from a vibration on pit road to come back to finish this race. How was your run today?
It was good. We made some good changes at the end to help the car a lot. I want to thank Amp Energy and National Guard and my team. They did a good job giving me some good strategy at the end to kind of make everybody back up toward the front.
How much did you guys need this run today just for overall morale?
I'm real happy with how we run. And hopefully we can keep it going.
All right, good luck to you next week, Vince.
Jimmie Johnson dominated this race today, but again, just a little bit short on fuel. Second time in a row. Can you sum up the frustration of being so close and not being able to get it?
You know, certainly frustrated, but we've won one race on fuel mileage ever. And it's just not what we're good at. So I think it's a little too risky for us even to try it. We got lucky once in Phoenix, and outside of that, we've always come up short. From inside the car, I did all I could. I mean, I was running half throttle for 80 to 90% of that run, and I don't know how else I could have saved any. So it's just the way it goes. We got a lot of power under the hood. It takes a lot of fuel. We had a great car, and it sucks to have stats like we do here, leading laps, and not go to victory lane. But we're working hard at it, and I have to congratulate Brian Vickers on his first win, or second win, I should say. His first win, he and I kind of got together, and I know it was hard on him at the time. So very pleased for him to get another win here. It's great.
Jimmie Johnson, a dominating day, but he finishes 33rd. Shannon?
Well, Jeff Gordon in the 24 team. Steve Letarte said you guys were 3 laps short, but he did not. He told you not to back down. What is that like for a driver just going for broke?
Well, 3 laps, that's 6 miles here. You know, I knew I saved a lot leaving pit road on that last pit stop. I mean, I felt like right there I got us at least a lap, maybe even 2. And then when that caution came out, I shut the engine off right away. I felt like I got the other 2. So, you know, I was running along there. It wasn't as good as the 83 or the 48, and we weren't sure if we could make it all the way. So wanted to conserve a little bit, saw the 99 coming, and wanted to just hold him off. And then Junior started coming really hard. So, you know, I didn't save a lot. I mean, there at the end I did. I really thought the 83 was going to run out after the 48 ran out, but he didn't. So we'll take another second place here at Michigan. Great effort by the DuPont Chevrolet team.
Jeff Gordon moved from 3rd to 2nd in the point standings. Doc?
Thank you, Shannon. Let's go down to our Degree V12 Victory Circle, where Brian Vickers is already celebrating. Dave.
Celebrating with every member of the team, including Ryan Pemberton, who made that call. And he already talked to Jamie about that. Brian, I couldn't believe when he said we were 25 away from our window, and that would have been lap 150. Were you surprised at what he was asking you to do?
Yes and no. We went through this several times, and he's asked me to give him 2 laps, and I gave him 5. So he said, go get it. You know, just do what you did here last time. He made the call. It was a great call. The 2 tires definitely kept us up front, clean air, which helped. Oh, man, I don't know what to say. I'm so proud of this Red Bull group, Toyota, TRD. Man, it feels so good to be in victory lane. We've gone through so many pains, so many down times together. I just got to thank the fans for coming out. I know the economy is down, but I am so thankful to have these NASCAR fans here, even in a bad economy. And look at them. I mean, they just about filled the place out. So proud of them.
Brian Vickers puts Toyota in victory lane for the first time at Michigan. Red Bull Racing with a W for the first time here today. Alan?
Well, another fuel mileage twist of plot here at Michigan, and later tonight it is the NHRA Lucas Oil Finals from Minnesota, 10 Eastern Time, ESPN2, the late night wrap-up on NASCAR Now. Our Monday roundtable is 5 Eastern Time, presented by the Home Depot tomorrow, ESPN2. Then next weekend it's on to Bristol Friday night for the NASCAR Nationwide Series race, and next Saturday night the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race, presented by Pennzoil, 6:30 Eastern on ESPN. What a crazy race. All kinds of strange things happen at the end. Junior charging. Jimmie Johnson runs out of fuel. Mark Martin loses ground in the race to the chase. And in the end, Toyota gets a win in Michigan. Brian Vickers is the victor today at Michigan. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Sports Center is now.